Hello and welcome to a really exciting video because not only are we talking about cool stuff, I have D20 as well as Boom Guy here with me to talk about the State of Champions. Boom Guy, why don't we start with you? How you doing? Tell us who you are and where people can find you.
I'm very good. I'm very excited to be here. This is going to be an exciting conversation. You can find me online under Boom Guy on Discord or The Winning Hand on YouTube and wherever you get podcasts. We do shows about Marvel Champions.
Nice. And D20 Woodworking, tell me, how are you and where can people find you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Nelson, I've never seen you before. We've never done stuff together, so it's an honor to be on your channel. But officially, it's an honor to be with Boom Guy because we've never done anything together ever. So super hyped for that. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
But yeah, so D20 Woodworking, YouTube, Twitch, I don't know. Just if it's a social media platform, I'm probably on it. So just start typing away. I may not be active on some of them, looking at Instagram, but that's okay. I'm there. So, there's those things, but mainly YouTube, and you're good.
Yeah, you reserve the handle, and that's the most important part on a lot of those platforms.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need some guy getting in and being like, hey, do you want it for $20? I'm like, oh, yeah.
Exactly. Well, the kind of concept of this video is the speculation of kind of a pretty significant information dump that we got around Marvel Champions. So at PAX Unplugged in November, pre-Thanksgiving, we had the in-flight report where a lot of information came out about what is coming up. We got actually the full timeline of releases for the entirety of 2026. We know every product, well, all the new products at least that we're getting. We'll speculate here in a little bit about that. And then we also had a live stream where the FFG team played Synthezoid SmackDown, and a couple of questions were asked and answered in that live stream about beta environments, X-Men, revisits, that kind of stuff. So I wanted to get on with two of my buddies here and talk about all of this, and as some would say, irresponsibly speculate about some of it maybe. So I want to just start out, and I'll pose this to you, D20, first. Out of those two, in-flight as well as Synthezoid or any other information that you may have, what jumped out the most to you?
What jumped out the most to me was I had high expectations going into the in-flight report that there was a Reddit post about a month before from Fantasy Flight Games that was talking about how all of our questions were going to be answered, that we were going to know everything, there would be no more questions. And it turns out after in-flight report, I'm happy with Daredevil. Don't get me wrong. I'm very excited. I mean, he's not like my favorite hero or anything, but I'm excited for the people that have wanted him and were convinced that we weren't going to get him for like 10 more years. I'm very, very happy. I'm happy they did the roadmap. I think it's time that we did the roadmap just to kind of quell some people's fears with things. The silhouette thing was cool, but I'm happy with that. What stood out to me the most is I went in thinking I was going to get answers, and I actually ended up with more questions, it felt like, at the end of that, which was not what I had on my bingo card for that. So while I'm very hyped and excited for Daredevil, I'm excited that they're doing the roadmap. I think it's smart. I think it's good. I was hoping for some more answers, to be completely honest.
And what type of answers are you referencing there?
Yeah, the biggest thing I think is the $1 million question is, where's my Captain America, right? Where am I getting? When am I going to get him again? This is the big fear. Where is Sinister Motives? All this stuff. Is it completely gone out of print for truly ever? Are they going to redo it? Or are they going to do it differently? This and that. And we've gotten tidbits of information here and there, but I feel like we just want that answer of just rip the band-aid off, be like, you're getting Captain America in 2 years, 3 years, never again, whatever it is, which they've kind of answered on the live stream a little bit. Or whatever, you never see Sinister Motives again. If you see it for $200, that turns out that's actually a good deal. You should probably get it then.
Yikes, I hope that's not the case.
I
love Sinister Motives. I'm so sad that it's so hard to find.
I love it.
I know Boom Guy's a Sinister Motives hater, though.
I'm not,
really?
But the real question I think that they didn't answer on the stream is the game dead? The answer, I'm being facetious. The answer is, of course, no. They gave us a whole roadmap. But I think D20's right, though. I think they just, to me, the bar was set very high for what they were going to say at this big event, and they hyped it up, and they kind of led us to believe there was going to be, like D20 said, all your questions answered, right? I was going to rub the genie. He was going to come out and tell me everything I wanted to know. And it left me feeling a little kind of wanting more. So the roadmap is cool. I agree. I don't know why we didn't do the roadmap 5 years ago. I don't know why these had to be super secret waves that we couldn't know about. Like, that time is over. But I will say it didn't quell all the questions. And I think the community is still wondering a bunch of stuff.
That's fair. So I guess if we eliminate that Reddit thread or the information that was kind of passed out beforehand that this was going to answer all of our questions, if that was not in your mind as like a preconceived notion going into in flight, would you consider this to be like a super hype in flight or no?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a classic example of FFG can't get out of their own way. So if they had said nothing and they had showed up and been like, here's a roadmap for the next year and this one hero that everyone's been asking about, I think fans would have lost it and been like, this is amazing. Instead, what we got was this drip feeding over the last year of, oh, we're going to have these 2 environments, but we'll say no more. You'll find out later. Oh, we have this mini wave. You'll find out more later. Oh, you're going to get all this stuff. And so that kind of built the hype, and then they kind of let down again. So I think if they'd just gone in being like, hey, we're going to announce some product, we all would have expected the little silhouettes again. Instead, getting the whole wave, we would have been hyped. And somehow they managed to turn, as they say, snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. So, but they did the other way around. They snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. So.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer of, under promising, over delivering. And we really just got the opposite of that, I felt like, which was the biggest thing. So I agree with you, Boom Guy and Nelson. Like, if we knew nothing going into it and, FFG was like, I don't know, we're showing something, it's all going to be swoo. Well, I don't even know why you people expect anything. And then we got what we got. Yes, there would still be some questions, like obviously around Captain America and Doctor Strange and whatever. But people would have been like, oh, this is really cool. Daredevil? Yeah, that would have been the focus, which would have been Daredevil, instead of the focus being, well, what about everything else?
Yeah, there's not enough conversation about Daredevil, quite frankly. That all kind of backfired, and now no one's talking about Daredevil. All they're talking about is, why did FFG quietly mark all the product on their site as out of print? Why did everything quietly go away? Why did we not hear what's coming next? What? I'm pretty sure they said we're going to have more than one wave going forward, and I'm pretty sure next year, if I'm checking my math, there's only one wave. So again, FFG can't get out of its own way.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting to me, the fact that they released probably the most asked for hero. And we are 8 minutes into the video now, and now we're finally starting to talk about it. And it's just like this like expectation versus reality situation that we're in, which I just find really fascinating, because if you look at the in-flight report, we got a lot. I actually wrote down everything that we're getting in 2026, and it's hype. We got Wonder Man and Hercules that is finishing off this kind of Civil War wave. We're getting the Fear No Evil expansion, which is Daredevil and Echo, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Shadowland Scenario Pack, and Elektra and Iron Fist. These are heroes and products that we've been asking for, minus maybe the ones in this wave, because it was kind of that bonus wave and everything that we've been asking for a long time. And so like from like a content perspective, if we did not have the question of, are we ever going to get these out of print products back, I think the community would be significantly more hyped for this roadmap that they put out.
Well, especially with the scenario pack, right? I mean, how many years of not getting a scenario pack? We're like, we just want a scenario pack. Just give us a scenario pack. And they did the thing. They did the thing, which is amazing and awesome. And then you're right. It just kind of backfired in a way. And even if you watch like the live stream, and Nelson, I know you were there, but on the live stream, you can watch the chat. The chat was like really hyped for a minute. And then it was suddenly like, wait, we're moving on? Wait, what do you mean we're moving on? Like it flipped like a switch. And it's really sad in a way, because like Daredevil is really cool that we're getting that finally and whatever, but it was crazy to watch.
I'm still waiting for, we got like the classic MCU after credits scene at the fireside chat where they teased all the stuff that was going to come, and it's like unrealized. Like, where's all the stuff from the fireside chat? Like, you freaked the community out by telling them that basically everything was gone and there's going to be these new environments, and everybody was like, oh my gosh. Then they said, we're going to have more information. That was like a year ago. Still waiting.
I want to talk a lot about the environments and reprints and revisited heroes. But before we do that, let's take a second, step back, and get excited for
Yeah.
what's coming up. So out of the products, Boom Guy, which hero are you most looking forward to in the 2026?
Boy, that's a good question. Of course, Daredevil is cool. I'm super excited about Daredevil. I think I have my sights set like a little sooner. Like I'm kind of excited for the ones that are coming up. I think Hercules has some really interesting mechanics. I'm often intrigued by heroes that I don't really know much about, but mechanically end up being really fun. So for me, that was Vision years ago. I don't really know anything about the character. He was in an MCU movie once. But then when I played him, I just like really enjoyed him. And often I feel like the smaller characters don't come with the burden of expectations or a certain thematic flavor that mechanics have to live up to. Like Daredevil has a huge bar to live up to. He now has to be amazing out of the box for everybody. Super strong, super versatile, super fun, right? I feel like it's very easy to disappoint. But heroes like Wonder Man, Hercules, Echo, like I have no idea. They could do something weird and maybe it'll be cool. So for me, I'm kind of looking short term at the ones they've already given us a lot of information about. I'm super excited about Hercules.
Yeah, he has such a different play style, and I'm looking forward to cracking that open. What about you, D20?
Yeah, I'm happy you brought up Hercules. I was hyped for the preview of Hercules. My community was just like, D20, you're an idiot. Like, you know nothing. Like, he's going to be terrible and whatnot. And I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I like what they're trying at least. Like, I'm always a fan of them trying new things. And this looks like a new, different, fun thing. So I'm 100% on board with it. So yeah, I'm hyped for that and Wonder Man as well. I agree with you 100% Daredevil. I think I'm not excited for Daredevil in the sense I think the community is gonna be upset with it because it's the bar is too high. So if he's super strong and good, everyone's gonna be like, oh, they made him too powerful. They made him too strong. If he's too weak, oh, they made him too weak. Like it's gonna be too much. Unless those cards come with Braille on and teach us how to read Braille, it's not gonna be good for anyone. I feel like so. Personally, for the newer stuff, I guess Jessica Jones because I really liked her ally card and how that worked. So I'm interested to see how they translate that because they usually kind of translate those things. So I'm gonna go with Jessica Jones as like the hero I'm excited for that.
Nice. I'm with you on the Jessica Jones train. I watched the TV show. I think it was like a 3-season TV show. I really enjoyed it. I thought that was a lot of fun. It was like this like gritty detective story, which was a nice shakeup from like this like we're superheroes and flying around and
We
destroying
punch
the
everything,
city, right? Yeah, right. And so I've answered the question thematically Jessica Jones, but characters in the game that have similar power sets to Luke Cage, I'm thinking Colossus and like those types of characters, I really enjoy. So I think mechanically, I'm really looking forward to Luke Cage. I think he's going to be a lot of fun. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. What?
No, I was thinking if he's gonna be like Colossus, man, I'm so bad with Colossus. Like I am trash, and I mean, I hope he is cool mechanically, but I'm so trash with him. Like he's cool. I like the way things work. I'm just so personally bad. That it's like, am I gonna be bad with this one too? Like probably.
Try that new. What's that hidden base? That new protection support. That whenever you flip down to altar ego, you get a tough status card.
Okay.
And then you're ready for a fight, and you flip back up. And oh, dude, it's yeah. Ready for a fight, hidden base, and taunt with Colossus, and
Colossus is one of my favorite heroes. He's so fun.
Everyone loves him, and like I have nothing against him. I'm just bad. Like I'm just bad with him. It's just like I want him to work better for me, but D20 the player is not good enough for it. So maybe one day.
Is that a skill issue, chat?
Yes. Yeah. Are you kidding me right now? They're just flooding the comments. Skill issue D20. Skill issue. Get good.
Get good. Come on. Nice. So those are the products that were announced at the in-flight report. I should have looked this up beforehand. It was like March is when my memory is of when they kind of announced that they were going to be doing current and legacy environments. Does that sound like I got close to?
I think it was earlier.
date?
I think it was January, February. I think it was
January.
like winter, I think.
January was the video, and then the article was in February or February 7th. I may or may not have it up on a second screen. So
Okay, nice. So it has been almost a year since we got that information, and we did not get any information about that in the in-flight. That was probably the thing that I was most surprised by, that there was no mention really of any of that. Do you think that we could still see, and I think, let's talk really quick, not reprints, but we're going to be calling them revisited heroes, because that's the terminology that FFG has been using. And they have said that, like, when we get a new Captain America, there may be tweaks to that previous design. So they're calling it revisited. So do you think that we could see revisited heroes in 26 and they just didn't put it on the roadmap because they're not new products? Or do you think that that's going to be pushed off another year?
With the roadmap they laid out, I don't think there's any way it comes out in 26.
I agree.
I think anybody expecting, I feel like I'm throwing FFG under the bus here, but anybody expecting the product to come out on the days that were said at the in-flight is probably kidding themselves. Like, for whatever reason, whether it's FFG's fault, tariffs, international shipping, COVID, whatever it is, product consistently does not come out when they say it's going to come out. So I'm just going to say there's no way that anything comes out in 2026. I think we have the product that they laid out at the in-flight, which the in-flight kind of ended like, if you're watching the Fellowship of the Ring the first time, you don't know there's 3 books. It just kind of ends. That's how I felt at the in-flight. They were talking, and then I was like, wait, is that it? They're moving on to Arkham? Like, wait a minute. There's all this other stuff. So I think if they had good news to announce, they would happily announce it, and they didn't. So I'd be shocked if all this stuff comes out in 2026 that they said, to be totally honest.
Yeah, it's turns out there's a lot of processes to get the product into our hand.
Yeah,
and a lot of those can go wrong. D20, any optimism from you? That was a dumb question. I'm sorry.
That was dumb. No, I don't think so. I think it's, well, I mean, we'll get into this with the current and the legacy environment, I assume. I still think that 2026 is going to be quote unquote legacy environment era. I don't think it's like the start of the current kind of. I feel like Arkham is 1 year ahead of Marvel Champions. It feels like Arkham, you saw them using terms like evergreen, right? We haven't had that. We know about the term that should exist again from the February article, but that has never been used for any Marvel product yet. And now they're finally using it for Arkham. So I feel like for Arkham, they're 1 year ahead of us where they're getting their second core. They're kind of not starting again, but starting another cycle or another core box, and then getting all this evergreen product. I feel like the next year is when that would happen for us. And realistically, I feel like that's the time that we would start seeing this reprinted stuff, because, okay, then you put Captain America in that however you want to.
I agree. I think if you look back and you look even beyond just the core set, if you look at the lead designer moving on, MJ moved on a little bit before Caleb did, and so she moved on, and then Caleb moved on, and then Arkham got a new core set announced. I would expect it to continue that same trend, and then we'll get the core set announced after that. I'm surprised it's taken this long. I mean, I know Caleb said in some interviews, I can't remember if it was in mine or somebody else's channel, but he did say that the X-Men was almost a second core set, and then I think that was nixed at the very last minute by higher-ups at FFG. So that the second core set idea has been bandied around, and if it got close with X-Men, I would imagine there's been planning going on for a while. So I'm sure we'll get one. I'm honestly surprised we didn't hear about it at PAX.
I was so sure we were getting a core set. I did multiple videos on it. So I was pretty surprised as well.
Even though they didn't just say it, like they're in 2027, a new core set. No pictures, no time, like just had said that it's coming and acknowledged what we kind of all already know. I'm surprised they didn't do that even.
Just, like a teaser trailer. Not even like that, but just like almost like a silhouette of the core set. Like,
just say it on stage. Like, there's going to be one. We all know there's going to be one. So, like, I don't know why it's still a secret.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. So, D20, I want you to help me with definitions of terms here, because we have revisited heroes. We have current environment, legacy environment, beta environment. What's happening?
Well, that's a really good question. I wish D20 could answer all that for you. I think FFG doesn't fully know yet with a lot of that stuff. Not in a negative way. I think they're just feeling it out. And I think the beta environment, it seemed, because from my understanding, Arkham's already kind of done the beta stuff, right? They've already talked about it. They've already done the processes. And now they want to kind of do that with Marvel Champions. So as far as I understand it, everything right now is legacy, right? So everything we're in the legacy. Moving forward, as things fall out of the current, it will forever be legacy. You can play with it however you want, which I don't know if we'll touch on it or not, but that whole interesting change of tone of how they changed, the definition, not the definition, but how in the video, they did in the recent live stream, I guess I should have mentioned this before, is one of the things they brought up is that we're changing how we're saying current and legacy. And they didn't say it officially like that, but they were just like, well, for people, it's like if you're a current environment player, you know that the person at the table with you only has the newest stuff, and that's it. So that's easier for you to like gear off them, which always felt weird to me because like if three of us were playing a game, I'd just be like, hey, Boom Guy Nelson, what do you have? Like, you wouldn't have to say like current or you'd be like, I have this deck. All right, cool, man. Well, I'll figure it out around that. Or you have this and whatever. So it feels like they're trying to change already what current and legacy is a little bit. And that might be a part of what beta is they're still trying to refine exactly what they want it to be and how they want it to be. My guess, again, is, current will just be from where it is, allegedly 2 to 3 years. We don't know. They said that it doesn't relate to out of print whatsoever, which I find a little weird because I think, of course, it does. But sure, whatever. So it'll be 2 to 3 years, and then it falls off to legacy where you have it. You have it. If you don't, you probably never will. So. Like I said, I think they're just trying to feel. I think they're trying to feel out their terms still.
Yeah. And so beta environment is not legacy or current.
I think beta is them figuring them out. Like I think beta is current and legacy combined, them trying to figure it out. But again, this is part of the problem is D20 has to speculate now because it's not clearly defined exactly what it is. We're still figuring out, and maybe some people know better than me, closer to what it is. That's fully possible, but no one knows like a hard definition for it yet.
And again, don't hate me, FFG, if you're watching this. Please keep sending me previews. But I think they haven't said that, right? They're throwing these terms around without fully telling us what they mean or what they think those words mean. So we have to guess and speculate. And there's all kinds of belly aching. There has been for a year by all of us, like, oh, what is current? Oh my gosh, what's going away? To me, Boom Guy's opinion is that I think it's more than anything, it is just describing the product that they're selling. I don't think there's really a gameplay distinction here. Current environment versus legacy environment, I think that just means what you own and you just play whatever. What they're really talking about, I think, what they mean is what they're printing and actively like selling and keeping on shelves. I think that's what current means. Current means it is currently for sale in print on our website. And I think legacy means it's no longer in print. We are no longer testing around it and balancing around it as much. We may still look at it, but we're primarily balancing around the things that you can get on the shelf right now. So to me, it's more of a like purchasing and marketing distinction rather than a gameplay distinction.
And I think that's important too, because how many people were worried in the beginning, like, oh, do I have to play the legacy way? Do I have to play the current way? Like, what do I have to do? Like, what are we as content creators, what are we going to do? And everyone was kind of like, I'm just going to play with the cards I have, right? I spent all this money. I'm going to play with those cards. And I think it's smart for FFG if they take that approach. Like, that is how they should do it. And that's the better way to do it.
Yeah. And I liked what you said, Boom Guy, about how maybe it is more of a focus around what they are balancing around. Because that would make sense. If you have 10 years in development for a game, there are going to be broken combos. And so if you can just limit your scope to the last X years and balance around that, that makes a little bit more sense from like a development standpoint of why you would have these distinctions.
Yeah, I mean, you guys all played Lord of the Rings, the Living Card game, and if you played through that, the Khazad-dûm cycle introduced a huge power spike. That was the second cycle in the game that they spent the rest of the game's life cycle trying to balance against. And I think this just prevents things like that. So if you create some cycle that has some whacked out heroes that are crazy strong, you're not stuck with that forever. You're not stuck with Hone Technique forever. You're stuck with Hone Technique until it rotates out, quote unquote, of sales essentially. And then it still exists. And if there's broken combos, like, I guess have fun, you played the card, but we aren't specifically balancing around that. Whereas now, Hone Technique came out years ago, 3 years ago now or whatever. And every aggression card since then has had to be designed with hone technique in mind. That was like a demarcation point in the game just for that aspect. So I think that's really what it is. And to me, like looking at Lord of the Rings LCG, I think they learned from that Khazad-dûm spike that kind of didn't break the game, but almost did.
Yeah.
And I assume that they're probably also looking at this through what they have learned from designing a TCG, which is with the rotation, you balance around 2 years, and then you don't really have to worry about power creep, because power creep is defined as rotation, right?
Yeah.
You can have different power levels among different sets because it doesn't matter, because you can't play with those anymore in a legal set. It's just a little weird that it's a co-op game and we're talking about this. But no, I get it. Like, I think it does free up the designers and unties their hands a little bit.
Yeah, and especially if they're gonna have 3 designers work on it, and it's like, okay, if I'm working on, if Boom Guy's doing the first one, Nelson's doing the second one, I'm doing the third one. It's like, wait, what did Boom Guy do like 2 years ago? And I have to like think about that card and like how is that gonna affect my design space? Like, it just makes their lives easy. And if it makes their lives easier, hopefully that means we get more product faster, better product, which would be a good thing.
If I was betting, I would say that I would expect to see, with this current environment, I would expect to see more things like more frequent updates to the standard and expert sets that will keep you buying things. I think you mentioned the TCG thing, Nelson. I think what Fantasy Flight learned there is how much money you can make by updating things more frequently, which is like everyone knows that. But if you have a standard set every year, there's a new standard set. Now we're on standard 7 or standard 6 or whatever it's called. Then people are going to be buying the new thing and playing the newest thing because that's the new standard set. I also think you could see something akin to Arkham where you're using mod sets from previous things like baked into the design. That's one thing I've always thought was cool about Arkham, is that the core set, like all those, mod sets are used in later expansions. So we could do the same thing, and there could be, mod sets that kind of come every year that become staples of those villains, which would force you to buy the product. Not to be totally cynical about it, but it forces you to buy the product and play the newest stuff.
Yeah, that could be really cool. Got a question for you all, which is, I'm going to deem it as an unfair question because I don't know if I have an answer. But as content creators, how are you going to structure your content with the legacy and the current delineation? Or is that just not going to be something that you focus on? Start with you, Boom Guy.
Start with me. Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I think of the three of us, I'm the one that has a very niche channel that talks about weird old cards that a lot of people already aren't playing. So if you look at my back catalog, we talk about a lot of cards that frankly aren't very good. Some of them are good, but they're a bunch of old weird cards. So for me, I don't think it makes a difference. I may, depending on what happens with these current environments and with the new cards, I may focus more heavily on new stuff because that's what people have and that's what they own. I think most of my player base owns most, if not all, of the game already. I don't do a lot of gameplay. I don't do a lot of streams, so I don't have to keep up with the newest stuff as much. I don't do hero reviews of the new stuff, so I think I'm kind of the outsider here. I think you guys are a little more plugged into the day-to-day current community than I am. So will it impact my stuff? Maybe, but not a ton.
Yeah, I think when the hero and scenario first comes out, I'll play it in its current like pre-con stage, and then nah. Like after that, like unless somebody like really has a crazy question, it's just like, hey, I only have this. Can you show me how this will work? Yeah, okay, like sure. But generally speaking, I'm mixing all those cards together. Like it's just gonna get sorted all together. I don't have time to like sort now legacy cards and current cards and then move the current cards to legacy. Like, when I'm not doing that. So if I have the card, I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, that's how I would approach it if I was a player. And I've been struggling with this ever since, I guess, for a year now. Man, I've been under a lot of pressure for a year now. I'm trying to figure out exactly what they meant, but two, also how is my channel going to look going forward? Because one, you do want to make sure that you're playing with cards that people have access to, and like you don't want to come up with some cool, crazy, awesome video and it's like, well, it's going to cost me $7,000 to build that deck because everything's out of print. And so is, I think like I'm hoping that we'll get a little bit more information around what those environments are here soon, and then we can make a better understanding. But I feel like it's just going to be a headache to like what you were saying, D20, sort everything. These are the legacy. Just keep a mental like catalog of what that is in my head, or a physical sum. I don't even know. It feels like it would bog down a lot
Yeah.
of the gameplay.
I mean, you do it for SWU, right? Like you play SWU and you already have set rotations, so you're familiar with how that works. So I don't think it's crazy. I think, but if you look at like content creation for other games that have set rotations, Magic, SWU, other stuff like that, there are not channels who talk about stuff that's out of cycle. Like that's just, no one is watching your channel if you're talking about cards that no one can play anymore. So I said earlier, mine won't largely change. If they shift really heavily and push this like set rotation and we really have kind of a TCG model that we're following, I would have to adapt, obviously, because no one's going to care about the cards that they can't play legally. But because it's a co-op game, and based on Arkham's example, I don't think that's what's going to happen. Arkham has said, like, their core set works with everything else. If you already own this other stuff, it's just the next step. It's not an end point. So, I don't know. I don't think we're going to have, like, heavy rotation where you have to worry about, like, which set is which, but I don't know.
And for you, are you looking at it from like a play perspective, or are you looking at like if you make like lists of like my favorite cards or whatever, or both?
Both.
Okay.
Yes, and.
Yeah.
I feel like the list would be a little bit easier to do.
Yeah.
At least with how I currently do gameplay, where I'm flipping through, I'm building decks like kind of by vibe. Just
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
we're just doing it.
The best way of doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then if I have to add another like logic check in there, it's like, is this going to be posted as a current or a legacy video? I don't know. It just seems like a headache.
Well, if you
And
do
also,
it,
I
was gonna say, if you do it, you can focus on all the current stuff. I'll focus on legacy and current. We can compare our stats, and we can can see what it is. I mean, I'll share my stats with anybody. I don't care.
Yeah, I that will be a fascinating
We can
dive
run that experiment.
into the stats.
I think you'll see some
that
channels
comes out.
gravitate towards current. I think even with how we've thought about it with the Arkham model, I think you'll see some channels move very strongly in the current direction, specifically channels that are focused on newer players, beginner players, kind of casual players who just pop in for a game here and there, or maybe have joined the game later in the life cycle. I think they'll shift that way. There's a lot of gameplay channels, I think, will shift more towards that. And I think the one of long form channels, like the stuff that Villain Theory does, or the whacked out stuff that I do, like that stuff will largely stay the same and still focus on legacy and current, and like not even think about the distinction between the two. But you guys with a lot of gameplay, I imagine you'll have to address the current stuff if it's a serious shift.
Yeah, and I think one thing I've always talked about is I've always wanted more content creators in this space. Like I think competition's a good thing. I think, rising tides raise all ships. So, for people that are always thinking about content creation, like there is a huge opportunity for that moving forward. Like you could do huge dives into like just current stuff, or if you just want to focus on legacy, whatever you want to do, like there is some opportunity there for content creators.
Yeah. I got excited when they announced the new Arkham set. I was like, oh, cool, a reset. I can start back over with Arkham, because I feel like to pun very much intended, I feel like with the last couple expansions, I very much drowned in like the content, and it was just like it was just a lot going on, and then like this is like, hey, refresh, let's go.
So you want to talk about positive thing for a second. So I had the same issue, Nelson, with that, where with Arkham, I started way too late, and I was like, I'm just going to buy all the things. So I bought all the things, I sleeved all the things, put all the things together, and I went, I don't know how to deck build for this game. I have literally no idea. I don't know what's good. I don't know what's bad. And I feel like a lot of people that got into Marvel Champions halfway through or 3/4 of the way through and bought everything kind of had the same problem. If we're doing a new current environment, that will help fix that problem for a lot of new players, is they don't have to worry about 5,000 cards and I opened everything and now where do I start? Like you can just start here and you can be kind of good to go and be just easier for you to get in. So hopefully you don't get overwhelmed and be like, I'm just selling my collection. I'm done with this,
Yeah, I had a really similar experience to Arkham. I got in late in Arkham and then caught up and bought everything and was like, cool. I had, played the core set, played a few cycles, and I was like, this is amazing. So I bought everything because I have a problem. So then I got to the same point you were at, D20, where it's like, I don't like, deck building is weird. It's not like the other games I played. I don't really know how to do it. I'm not bad. So I'm very much a casual player. I'm really looking forward to this new core set. And to me, I've already thought about, I'm going to keep the two bundles of content separate. Like I'm going to keep the chapter 2 going forward separate, and I'm going to play it like a progression. Like I'm just getting into the game and I'll learn the cards as we go, which is a more fun way to enjoy the LCG experience, I think. And then I'll play legacy stuff whenever I want to, but I'm going to keep the cards separate. So I think if you're like a casual Marvel Champions player, it's a great chance to jump in and really learn the card pool the way we did. Like, I got in at the very beginning, and so I played, crappy cards 5 years ago because that's all we had. Like, that's what we played, right? And then you learn over time as new packs come out, you get all that knowledge. Instead of trying to absorb 5,000 cards at once, I absorbed, cards over time. So I think if anything, the Arkham example sets out casual players and who aren't all the way in right now are in for really, really good times.
Yeah, I love that outlook. So we have been told, both in the in-flight as well as confirmed again in the Synthezoid SmackDown live stream, that we are getting a new rules update. I believe it's 1.7, right? Or is it 1.8? Okay, 1.7.
Yeah.
And it's coming in mid-December. Seeing that we're recording this on December 16th.
I would say it's mid-December.
We are in mid-December.
2 more days. I'll put
Already
money
there.
on it now, Thursday.
Yeah. So I think
I
the
bet we
big
don't get it.
thing. I bet, really?
You don't think so?
Yeah, I bet it doesn't come this month. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, we're recording on Tuesday, the 16th. So
Yeah.
D20 is saying on Thursday. If it doesn't come on Thursday, there's no chance it comes.
It can't, because it's
That's
Christmas
true.
and New Year's. So this Thursday is the only time it comes out.
I
God, don't disappoint me, FFG. Come on, you can do this, baby.
They like keep disappointing you, and you keep going back. It's an abusive relationship.
Just one more time. It'll be better this time, I swear.
They've learned their lesson. They'll be nice to me now.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think I'm on D20's side here. I think we will be getting it in 2 days or probably 1 day from the release of this video. That would be my guess.
One of us is going to look like a fool on Thursday.
Maybe 2 of us. Who knows?
Maybe 2 of us.
One of us, I'm sure. Go ahead.
Or they'll do what they did with that. I don't even remember what hero it was, but it was a random like Tuesday release of an article, and we're like, what?
No,
What
it was
happened?
It was Spider-Ham, wasn't it? When they did it on
Oh,
April
was that
Fool's
because it's
Day.
April
Yeah.
1st? Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Maybe they'll give us half the rule book so we can be right and wrong all together
There you
as a
go.
team.
Nice.
Or they'll
Nice.
just
It's
quietly put it on their
cooperative after
website like the contest winners. They just kind of like snuck onto their website last week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So it has been said that we are getting the beta environment announced in that rules reference. Before we talk about the beta environment, are there any big changes that you hope to see addressed in that 1.7?
Yeah. Retaliate. Freaking retaliate. I hate retaliate with a burning passion. I don't care what they say. They're wrong about, well, they were wrong, they were right, they were wrong, they were right, and now they're wrong again about it. If I defeat a villain on stage 1, stage 2 can't retaliate me. I will die on this hill. So I want them to fix that. That'd be really great. But that's my biggest thing. But yeah.
I don't
Anything
have any
stand
like
out?
huge
Yeah.
rules things I'm hoping for. It's
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I knew
want it to
D20
be
would have
cleaned
something,
up.
so
Yeah, I just want it to be cleaned up. I really like what Tony does with the rulebook. I think generally speaking, he does really good things. I think this is one of his strongest suits, in this Marvel Champions system. And I just want him to take a hatchet and just cut things. And I don't mean rules, because I know I've stated this before, and people are like, what rules would you cut? I want to cut rules. If you look at doesn't flip to any page of the rule book, there'll be 6 sentences that will say something that could be done in 1 sentence. And like, you can shorten it with a good editor really easily and just make the rule book more accessible and easier. Instead of me like freaking out trying to flip through 60, 70 pages, whatever it is, 20, 30 pages is all you really need. I just want everything tightened up on it. That's what I'm really looking forward to in that rule book, hopefully.
yeah. That would be nice. I think he started, I think his first one was 1.5 was his first update.
That was
Maybe
a big
1.6.
update.
Yeah. Fantastic. I agree that is where he thrives. In that it just worked out really, really well. Beta environment. D20, you probably know the most about this, which is not a lot. Right? We don't have a lot of information about it, but like, I think we were talking right before we hit record. Did they say beta playtest environment, or is that just something that we commonly associate with beta testing, or was that something that was actually said by FFG in the live stream?
I'd have to look back to the live stream. But I know for sure they said that the current and legacy environments would be in the rulebook. And I don't remember if they said in conjunction that beta will be mentioned in there, which I don't think it should be. Personally, I don't think you should put the words beta environment into a rulebook. I think that gets really, really weird and kind of it just won't make sense, especially if you're only planning to do a beta environment for a year or whatever. Like, doesn't make sense. But as far as current and legacy, because what they said in the live stream was a lot of your answers will allegedly be answered in that rule book about current and legacy environment. So I'm assuming Tony will put it in there saying moving forward, this is what it's going to be, whatever. And they'll come up with their exact definitions. I think it's going to fix a lot of things. I don't know about beta though, if they're mentioning it specifically. Maybe they are, maybe someone else knows, but I don't know specifically, and I don't think they should put it in there, assuming beta is just like kind of what we're testing out or figuring out,
I think in Arkham, they used the beta and current almost interchangeably, which is a little confusing. I think they're talking about the same thing. I think when they say beta, this is Boom Guy's opinion. I have to parse through their words the same as you all do. But I think they just mean current when they say beta, and when they say current, they mean beta. Like, I don't understand why that could be the case, or why you would choose two words when one will do. But I think that's what they mean based on the things I look back for Arkham. They described it as beta, but what that really means is just like the newest things, the current environment. So
I don't think I knew that history with Arkham, so that gives me a lot of hope, actually, because I would much rather have 2 environments with confusing names than 3 environments, and just like have just like beta and current be the same thing. It's confusing to me. That doesn't seem current. Beta doesn't seem current, but that I think would be if I could set up how Champions is going to go forward, I would prefer to just have the 2 environments.
I think
so that is really encouraging.
For Arkham, I think they use beta because they have a taboo list, which is essentially a banned list of cards. So I think what beta means is it's the current where they're like putting new cards out and you're playing those things, and then those things will graduate into legacy, except the things that don't work because they are taboo now, and those things won't graduate to legacy. They'll just be kind of written off. So I think that's why they started using the beta terminology. You're not really testing the game. What you're doing is like playing with the stuff, and then they'll have to ban things, and those things won't go to legacy when they rotate out, for example, is as I understand it.
God, yeah. I feel like I just had like a epiphany. I'm just like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, the way that you described that. Okay. Now I understand the terminology behind beta slightly more.
It's still a bad word. I'm not going to say that.
No, they should not use it.
It's a weird way to explain it, but I think that's what they mean.
Yeah, and naturally, when you hear beta, you just think like testing. Like you think you're testing their like beta environment, and which is I don't know. You figure it out, community. FFG, if you listen to this, just drop the word beta. Just don't even bother with it. Legacy and current is perfectly fine. It's really good.
Yeah.
Legacy and current would also make sense given the fact that we do not have banned cards or taboo cards in Champions, unless that is potentially something that they plan on adding in this 1.7. That could be kind of interesting.
Do you guys think we'll get a banned list?
No, I think it will just be the legacy and current, and whatever's out of current will be banned essentially from the current.
Like not a taboo where the taboo is also, it bans things, but it also is errata effect. So not everything on the taboo list is just gone. And sometimes it just means like they've changed the wording or the powering of some cards. I wouldn't be surprised if we had a more robust errata going forward, whatever that looks like.
I could see that. I could also see them not worrying about banning or tabooing cards that we have now, but setting it up as something that happens more in the future. Yeah. And so maybe in that 1.8 is when we actually start to get some of those tabooed cards. But the terms are defined in 1.7 saying, hey, this is a design lever that we can now pull as a design team.
I don't know. I could see some things getting banned from the legacy. Like I could see a lot of it staying, but I think there are some problematic cards. If you're thinking specifically about power of the game, there's some problematic cards in the core set, which theoretically everybody owns and everybody will be able to bring to the current environment. So if you're trying to rebalance the game, someone bringing Make the Call and Nick Fury may interfere with that, but we've told everyone before now they have to buy Make the Call and Nick Fury, so everybody has it. So I would think cards like that might get banned. Things like Honed Technique are the ones that people talk about the most. Those I think are less likely to get a ban because those packs rotated out a while ago. And so the percentage of the community that owns them is a lot lower. But I think specifically Maria Hill, the leadership ally, Make the Call, and Nick Fury are 3 examples that I can think off the top of my head from the core set that are still cracked today. And if you're trying to rebalance a game, they're just going to continue to be cracked and interfere with that. So I could see some things getting errated or banned.
You know how they fix that? Core Box 2.0. That's how you fix that bad boy.
Yeah, but you would still have the core set 1.0, right? Because everyone's might still own that. I don't know.
Well, wouldn't they push that to Legacy then? Like when they say like the new core, they kind of how they're doing with Arkham, right? So
Yeah.
this is the new core box moving forward. That's how I assumed that they would do it. And then the old one, they're like, hey, that's a collector's edition. Please buy Spider-Man in the future.
Yeah, please buy Spider-Man again.
Yeah.
I would buy Spider-Man again.
I would 100. You could sell
Everybody
Let's
will.
be honest.
Yeah.
You could send me 10 Spider-Mans in a row. I'm going to buy every single one. Are you kidding me?
That's interesting. I think you've convinced me. I could see them not. I don't think we'll get banned cards from the core set. I think that is a feel bad. From like a hey, I bought this product and like also you cannot use those cards. That from a course, I could see that goes over a little bit better in some expansions, I think. But I could see them updating the wording where maybe make the call now cost 1, balance it out a little bit, and then you say now all the future core sets that we are printing are printed with these erratas.
Yeah.
And Maria Hill is play from hand or something like that.
You could simply make the new core set include updated versions of those cards, right? You could have a new card called Make the Call that costs 1 and only searches your discard pile and plays it instead of putting it into play. And then effectively the wording is such that like you can only play Make the Call, and this is the new errated version. This is the one that's legal to play. I see that what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you else any other ones? You called out Nick, Make the Call, and Maria from the core set. Any other like legacy cards that you think could see an update or a ban?
Hone Technique. Moon Girl. I don't know. I mean, there's like a bunch of cards that are just really, really strong that you could ban. You know, I don't know. I have to think about stuff. I think Hone Technique's a big one, but again, not everyone owns that pack. Was Nova? Is that a Nova pack?
Something like that, yeah.
So I don't know. They might have to ban Valkyrie. She's too strong.
She's too strong.
Just dominates the game. You know, just got to nerf her.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, that's where everything fell apart. I mean, honestly, it's just, why bother buying any more heroes? The Power in All of Us, I could see getting it, because that was the card that kind of broke the game, the quote unquote broke the game the first time around. So I could see him being like, yeah, we're not going to make that mistake again.
Yeah.
Yeah, basic
right
needs to be addressed. For sure.
I agree. I think that may be at the top of my wish list in terms of like a theoretical address, like thing for them to address is just basic, because
it's amazing that like you can run basically any hero in basic and just crush. Like you can crush, like, and there's very few heroes that can run any aspect and, you know, crush with all 4 aspects. Like it's kind of bad.
It went too far with basic.
Yeah.
I
could see them limiting the number of basic cards you're allowed to run.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, that would cut it in a deck. You mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's
what
a good
would you
call.
do?
Like that.
Like 10, 15, something like that.
7.
Ooh.
And include the basic doubles. Energy, Genius, and Strength are basic cards. I like that. Or you can only, I don't know, maybe you just cut those. Just like if you're running aspect, you just have an aspect. It's too late to do that probably now, but
yeah. But I can see
limiting.
that being that's my irresponsible speculation of what we're going to see in 1.7 is a limit on basic cards. It's not going to happen, but I'm calling it now, and I will ride this high until the day I die if I am correct. So
no, I think chapter 2 we could see something like that. That would be cool.
Would you ever get rid of the doubles, like in basic, the basic doubles? I think they're too strong. Like the fact that they're put into 98, 99% of decks, like if you want to like really go crazy with things, like, because we look at heroes now that have doubles in there and we go, oh, that's like really crazy strong. And then you would have it for each aspect. So like, okay, it limits what it can do. I think that's a space that they should look into at some point, but I don't know if you're too far, like you said, Boomer, like if you're just too far along at this point to do anything.
Yeah, you're 6 years into a game, might be too late to.
It's 2.0, let's do it. Come on.
It's the same thing with allies, right? People talk about how strong allies are, but
yeah.
That's just what the game is. It's too late to like rebalance it significantly, I think, even in chapter 2. Like, I don't know. That's probably just what the game is.
Yeah, I guess you have to have like a scenario that's like if you use a card with 2 resources on it, it would penalize you for it. Like maybe that could be a standard set of cards or something.
That's
It's a free idea,
cool.
FFG. You can take it.
Yeah. Nice, nice. Oh, y'all, we are already a little bit over the time I told you. I want to just real quickly get your reactions, not your initial reactions because it's been a while, but your reactions to the fact that we did get confirmation X-Men is coming back to this game. Hype? Not hype?
I think it's hype. I think it's good for the game. I mean, look, I'm going to, all right, let me look at this as like a YouTuber for a second. Not even like a fan of the game, as a YouTuber. My stats went crazy during the X-Men stuff, which means everybody's watching those videos. Everyone wanted to see it. Everyone loves it. And yes, that's good for me as a YouTuber, but more importantly, it shows everyone wants this, right? Everyone wants to see it and wants these heroes. They want Beast, right? They want Professor X, like if they come around, or even if they redo some of the old ones or whatever, or revisit. That's fine too, but I think it's a very, very, very good thing to go back to and do more. And give me the White Queen, right? Give me her.
Yeah, I think I agree with D20. Like, it's good for the game. Just anecdotally, I go to conventions, I meet a lot of people, in comments and emails and stuff too, and I just think the number of people who joined this game because of the X-Men specifically is crazy and has really breathed a new life into the game. I think they'd be crazy to turn their backs on it. I know there are licensing issues that they've talked about, so who knows behind the scenes, but it'd be crazy if they didn't do it. On a personal player level, I'm still a little fatigued from the waves we got. We got 3 waves of X-Men. There was a lot. They're very powerful. They have a lot of synergies baked into themselves, and I think I could use a little time off. We had the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. wave with the little Civil War wave. I guess we're talking 2027. Maybe I'll be ready then. But right now, I still feel like there's a lot of X-Men, and I could use a break. But, just because it releases, I have to play them. But I think it's better for the game, for sure, if we have them.
Yeah.
I think that's totally valid. Like, from a lore perspective, I'm more interested in Avengers than I am X-Men, just because I didn't come up reading the comic books, so I don't have this deep rooted connection with the X-Men like a lot of the player base does. And so, like, to be fair, I don't have that with really any Marvel character. It felt like it was the X-Men part of the game and then there's the rest of the game is almost how you can look at them. But I agree, it would be a little, I would be shocked. Well, I guess we did get confirmation, but I would be shocked if we didn't get them pretty soon into the current environment. It feels like you need X-Men in the current.
And really quick, let's just define this really, because some of your listeners might be like, what do you mean we got confirmation? So what was said really quick was just that Olivia, basically in the live stream, when they were playing Sentinel SmackDown, somebody asked, are we getting X-Men? And she said that we can confidently say that. And any content creator, anyone that's been in this space for a while will tell you, they don't talk about things unless they're really allowed to talk about things. And if they're talking about that, we could pretty much say, like, it's not 2027 guaranteed, 2027 guaranteed. It might be further down the road, but they're not saying that unless it's happening at some point.
Let me ask you guys real quick on a separate question. I'm going to just not end your video, Nelson. We're just going to ask another question.
Yeah, because I have a question too after it, so don't worry.
Okay, good. I love that. Let's keep going. So one of the things that they talked about before the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. wave is that they were moving away from these coherent thematic waves, where previously we had, the X-Force wave, the X-Men wave, the Spider wave, etc., and moving into these more kind of disparate, not thematically connected waves. And we got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which had, some S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff, some spiders, some Falcon, whatever that is. And so then they immediately, the next wave, went back to a full thematic wave. What do we think is the path forward? Will we see more of these kind of onesie-twosie waves, or are we going to go back to thematic waves? What do you guys think?
I think onesie-twosie. My guess is that they had made the decision after this street-level defender wave had been developed, because they develop about 2 years in advance. And so my guess is that they made this decision that they're going to go into these like onesie-twosies. And as far as I understand it, the Civil War was kind of like a bonus wave that Caleb did and kind of dropped it in. And so that's why it follows a little bit different than the waves that sandwich it. But also just from like a business standpoint, it feels like it makes a lot of sense to spread those teams out to keep people engaged. It's like, I love the Spider-Verse. Now it's like, I just have to buy this wave versus I need to be continually engaged with this game to get all the spider because we're getting one new one every year.
I would agree, but I don't think they're going to for a while. And the reason being is because of licensing. So I think X-Men, they're going to have to license together. And Fantastic Four, if we look at Marvel Legendary, Fantastic Four always had to be its separate thing. Now, the only exception was Doom 2099 in the 2099 pack. This is shout out to Bagel Top Games because I did not do any of this research. He did it all for me because he knows way more than I do. But this was the only exception when they had Fantastic Four. Now, for Core Box Volume 2.0 that allegedly may be coming out, may not be, they do have Doom like on a mat with other people. So maybe the Fantastic Four licensing is like fixed and it could be mixed with other things. But if it is an issue, which it has been in the past, then that would have to be a separate thing. After they knock those things out, then yeah, I could see that happening. Or maybe they just like interweave it all.
As a fan, I want to hope we have the onesie twosie waves because it would allow us to go back and get some characters that we missed. You know, specifically like Mantis was a Guardian that a lot of people talk about that we just missed. And Wong was an Avenger that we missed. Like there's just little ones we missed along the way that I think would be cool to get. Some Champions, some Avengers, some X-Men. Beast famously was missed. So I think that would be cool rather than going back to the full waves. And I agree with you, like sales-wise, it makes way more sense than to say, like, here's all the spiders, and if that's all you care about, then I can stop buying them. Instead of like, well, here's one spider, but there's going to be another one next year, and there's going to be another X-Men next year. Like, that just makes more sense from a sales perspective. Plus, the core set has to have, like, heavy hitters, right? Like, it has to have the big... I mean, Fantasy Flight doesn't listen to me. If I was making a core set, I would have all the biggest ones in there, like Spider-Man, Wolverine, like all the big ones.
Well, and kind of going with that, what I thought was one of the most interesting things about the Daredevil thing is it's in the box. If you asked me a year ago when they were going to sell Daredevil, I was like, Hero Pack, 100%. Why would you not do that? And instead, they put in the box, which is very interesting to me. And it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, I would have thought like, Echo, Jessica Jones.
Right, yeah.
Well, they usually do one male, one female, but like
so
it's
like
a
Luke
lesser known
Cage or
character.
whatever. Yeah, Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. Like they're popular, but like they're not Daredevil popular, you know?
Yeah, Daredevils could sell packs. But yeah, so I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah. Counterpoint, they did get everyone pretty invested in this wave by putting him in the box.
Yeah.
Right, they sold a $45 product versus a $27 product.
If you would have, okay, but if you did the roadmap still and said Daredevil's at the end, would people? I mean, this is all speculation because we will never know, right? It's the Schrodinger's cat. Like, so would it people bought the whole wave knowing that coming up, like, okay, there's going to be all these support cards for Daredevil. I really want them for that, or were they just like you said, just been like, well, I don't have to buy this $45 box now. I can wait until a $20 hero pack comes out. That is interesting.
The Schrodinger's hero pack, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd play it.
Yeah, right.
All right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, okay, we talked a lot about Revisit Heroes, and this is something I've been struggling with personally because people have been asking me this with Revisit Heroes. Is the big Revisit Heroes, do you have a wave of Revisited Heroes, or do you sprinkle them in throughout the years? Because I feel like it's a win and a lose both ways. Right? If you rip the Band-Aid off and you get it all done in one wave, it's like, okay, great. All the new people get what they want. They're excited. But all of us that maybe are older and we're not as excited for like Revisit Heroes or whomever, right? They go, well, now I don't want that wave whatsoever. Or, you sprinkle it throughout the waves, but now throughout the waves, just like, well, now I don't care about this one hero pack. And that lasts for years upon years. If you were FFG or whatever, how would you approach this?
How would I, or what do I think they'll do?
Let's do both. How would you do it? And then what do you think they're going to do?
I think actually they line up. If it was me, I would treat, again, we're all just assuming there's a core set. They have not said there's going to be a core set. If you're watching this and you're confusing because I'm talking about a core set, there is not an announcement. We all assume there will be. But Marvel Champions 2.0, I would just treat it as there's been nothing before in terms of heroes. Like, it's a blank slate. If you want your core set to have the same 5, it won't have 5. I bet it'll only have 4 because there's only 4 aspects. There was supposed to be 5 aspects. That's why there's 5 heroes, and that's why it doesn't really work. But I think I would just treat it like blank slate. So we'll just have Spider-Man and Wolverine in the core set, and we'll just keep moving, and sometimes you'll get packs of heroes you've already seen, and sometimes you won't. I think they'll be different enough that, I mean, we're all degenerates. We will buy it anyway. if you're watching this, you are one of a degenerate. You're one of us. But I think they're going to be different enough you're going to buy them. It's not going to be like they tweak the wording on a card here and there. It's going to be whole new heroes. If you look at the stuff that's happening in Arkham, the core set that they have, they're like new versions of characters. They're like they've aged, they've gotten older over time, or they're like siblings. So like I think it's going to be all new interpretations. So you're going to get a Wolverine that does something totally different than the one now, and I think that's what they will do, and that's what I would do too.
They could also lean into what they've always said when they're designing a hero is they design for a snapshot in time and just move the timeline and then redesign. Now it's like Wolverine in Savage Land time. I don't know anything about
Old
X-Men,
Man
but
Logan, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And kind of lean into that to justify the new mechanics. Yeah, that I could see that. I think the best path or the most likely path forward is that we will get new core set and then they will do we get new heroes? Like now I'm like going to the other extreme, like Marvel Champions 2.0. Do we get a Mantis or do they just stick with the same Guardians that they ran with the first time around?
I bet it's all open. You can have any Guardians, maybe you'll get Nova and you'll get Mantis and Star-Lord. Who knows? I think they'd be smarter to mix the teams too. I think that'd be cool. If teams were mixed in waves, to sprinkle some of those traits throughout a little bit more. But I think there's a lot of opportunity for them to explore different ways. Years ago, I thought when they revisited Heroes, which I thought was kind of inevitable based on how sales works, I thought they would do like Sam Wilson to get a new Captain America in, and a gray Hulk to get a new Hulk in the bot. Like, X-23 would be the new Wolverine. So I thought that's how they would do it. And now I think they're just going to get like a new Steve Rogers.
Mm-hmm. My only worry with that, with like the new Steve, I think Captain America is the perfect example of this. Because like if they redo Hulk, very few people are going to be upset about redoing Hulk, right? They're like, yeah, okay, do it. With Captain America, I think it's going to be really interesting because that's going to be hard to design, like really hard. Because the first Captain America was really good, right? So if we get a second one and it's worse than the first one, be like, why did I buy this thing? Or if it's better, then it's like, well, why do I have this first thing then? Like, it's going to be this really weird spot, like as a buyer of all this old stuff into new stuff. It's like, I don't know, like they would have to, you're right, revamp it completely, still have it in the same power level or same feel good level or whatever, or better in Hulk's case, to make it not feel bad that you have to like rebuy this hero. That's one of the things I worry about with Marvel Champions moving forward, just for the old players. For the new players, obviously it's all good, right? It's all upside. For the older guys, like it's just like, do I really want to get this or not? And like they need our sales because we're like you said, we're degenerates. We will buy everything. But there's only so many times you can sell me Captain America over and over before I go, oh, okay, like at least Marvel Legendary, right? It was like different versions of Captain America, like you said, in time and whatnot. And Gray Hulk. I think I agree with you. I thought they were going to do Red Hulk, all this different stuff. I thought they were going to change it around. Like that made the most sense to me. And then when they didn't go that route, I was like, okay, that's an interesting choice. But yeah, I think I'll be really fascinated to see how the community reacts when they finally come out with new Steve Rogers and how people take to it.
Yeah. No pressure there.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I think it also probably depends a lot on how these sales numbers compare for old core, new core. If you're seeing a huge spike in new core, I bet we get a lot of the older heroes revised or revisited. More so than if it's on level or whatever, which would indicate to me that the older players are kind of still the masses and we're not drawing in a ton of new players. I would probably look to design newer names to keep them engaged. And so, because my guess is that Captain America may be better in the new version and then Scarlet Witch may be worse. And so it's going to be all the way around. It's going to be all over the map. And so like, I think for like the degenerates and us who are going like the legacy players, you probably need the new names to keep them engaged, because if you have too many of those misses in a row, you'll lose a lot of the player base.
This is an IP-based game, right? And there's some pieces of the IP that are just more valuable. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man, there's just going to be more Spider-Man. Like, that's just what it is. And if you don't redesign them, right, thinking about people wanting to buy new stuff, there aren't that many valuable pieces of the property left. Like, I'm sure there are some, and every hero is someone's favorite, and I'm not going to yuck your yums if you're waiting on that Howard the Duck pack. But
Kool-Aid
most of
Man,
us
let's
want
go.
most of us just want Cap and Spider-Man and Wolverine and Hulk, and that's what new players want. And ultimately, these have to live on a shelf in a game store, competing with 40,000 other board games. That's why the core set has Spider-Man right on the front, because he's like one of the most popular heroes around. And so they want to see hero packs. They don't want to see like Rogue and Vision. They want to see like Spider-Man and Wolverine and Iron Man, you know? So we're just going to get the same ones again. And I think maybe this is just an excuse to find ways to sell those same things back to us again. I don't know. That's the cynical part of me, but we're just going to get the same ones again and again.
So you mentioned before, Boom Guy, that there would only be 4 heroes in the core box. Do you think there will be a return of the pool aspect, the forgotten 5th aspect? Will they ever bring it back and readdress it?
No, I think the pool's done. I think that's been clear for a while now. I have gone back and looked. They wrote in that article announcing Deadpool that they're treating it as a new aspect. They hyped it up, and then I think it's pretty clear now we're not getting any more pool cards ever. I think they made a huge mistake by including the Dread pool set. I think that kind of hurt it, because if you want everything to be playable out of the box, you can't play any new pool cards unless you have the Deadpool pack, which is now maybe out of print or will be. So you'd have to include those 6 cards every time, which is just more printing costs. If they had just scrapped that, it's dumb anyway. I wish they would have. I think you could just sprinkle in a few packs here or cards here and there or heroes, but I think we're done.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. One of the frustrating things was that article, and they're like, this is the next 5th. And I was like, okay, cool. We're going to get more with it. And then, okay, it's been, 3 years, and we're just going to pretend like it doesn't exist. And I'm not a good pool aspect player, but I was hoping for more cards, I was
for sure.
Running some different things going on. So
it's really disappointing, actually.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it is. Well, that's why, I don't know if in the core box they would do that, because then they would have those pool cards that you need will forever exist. So, I guess that's the counter argument to it, is it would be there then, but now you are taking away from a lot of the other game, because now you have to put those 7 cards in there. What does that replace? Or do you just make the box bigger, charge us more money? Not a bad idea, FFG. So I don't know.
I think if you're going to do another aspect in the core, maybe you just start over and make it a proper aspect. Like the Deadpool aspect is kind of a joke, and that's cool. I don't mind it. But if you're going to start fresh and really create a new aspect, I think you might just start fresh and create a new aspect.
Yeah, I agree.
But they scrapped it the first time around, so maybe they won't be. I don't know.
They could replace that basic with a 5th aspect. That could be kind of interesting.
Get rid of basic. That would be spicy. They won't.
That would be.
Basic.
That's a hot take.
Way. That's a hot take.
I don't know.
That's a
I'm
hot
not D20 is a spicy one. Come on.
Yeah, right. I like Nelson coming out of left field. I like this.
But what does basic provide that the game wouldn't be better starting at a new slate without it?
I was going to say the only thing it did was to make it easier to deck build in the beginning, I feel like, because they didn't need as many aspect cards in the beginning, and that's it. So if you print a bigger box and put those 5 aspects, it hurts deck building in the very beginning, right? Because there's less that you can do essentially. But for the long term of the game, I agree. I think it helps.
I think basic is cool. I just think they need to have a lot more restraint on basic. They need to really tighten their belts. It's cool to have cards that pop up, Danger Room is a cool card, so you can use all the upgrades that have training on it for the X-Men. That's a cool idea. But when you have the Utopia and the X-Jet and Cerebro and Danger Room and Weapon X and it gets crazy, and pretty soon you have an aspect unto itself. You really have a 5 aspect game. So I think it's cool to have some. They just got to really pull it back. Or, like you said, put limits in your deck. And that, I think, is the more interesting version of that limitation, where they can just print as many as they want, and then it's up to you as the player to have more decisions of how you're going to put those 7 in. That's cool.
Yeah. Another way you could limit it is every basic card has the requirement of a trait to play. So you could still get, your Quinn carriers could be run in any, but you have to be an Avenger, which is the Quinn carrier, but then we don't have a Hela carrier.
And so then you can still get, Nowhere and the Quinn carrier and stuff like that, but they're trait locked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yeah. Alrighty. signing off the video, I want to just kind of get a finger on the pulse from both of you all, because we've been hyped, we've been criticized. That's too strong of a word. We've been
Spicy. We've been spicy.
There we go. Finger on the pulse. D20 current outlook on Marvel Champions: positive, negative, neutral.
Moving forward, next year, I'm still positive for it. I think getting Daredevil is massive. I think, it can't be overstated that's huge for a lot of people. Just in private conversations, talking to people, I think some people after Civil War and the Shield Wave were like, I don't know if I want to continue with this game. Like, it's not for me anymore. And they have now messaged me and been like, nope, back on the train, right? I'm back in. And I think for new people getting into the game that you still see them pop up on Reddit and whatnot, it's just like, I'm thinking about getting into it. Like, Daredevil's like, get me excited. I think that's absolutely huge. So I still think they're fine. Allegedly, again, I'm going to go back to this Reddit post, and PS 2027 might be even better than 2026, which is really saying something. Not my words, FFG's words. So again, I'll believe them that this is going to be something massive in 2027. So, Core Box 2.0, I don't know. Let's say it is, then, I think the next year looks really good. After that, I'm not negative on it. I will just wait and see. But right now, I think I'm positive. I like what they have done with the exception of their messaging and their marketing on things, which I think has been a little bit not great. What they have actually done isn't bad. If we just look at that, if we look at the releases and the blueprint, I think that is good. The fact that they are trying, maybe it doesn't always hit and doesn't always succeed, but they are trying to communicate more with the community is good. I mean, Nelson, we've been talking about this years ago. Like, why don't they just talk to us more? Why don't they? And now they are. And maybe they're missing on, the mark now and again with what they say, but they are trying. And I will take trying over the old way, which was they didn't say anything and we had no idea. And legitimately, we would have nonstop posts of the game is dead. The game is dead. Nothing's coming out. They missed the site. The game is dead. The game is dead. They won't say anything because the game is dead. Like, we're past that, thank God. And now, because at least they are kind of talking to us, it's better. So I'm still on the positive train, even though D20 is negative. I am on the positive train. I think the next year will be good. I think the following year will be good. I'll see what 2028 is. Hopefully, I'm still around as a channel.
I think the last point you made is the biggest one that I want to focus on. I think their communication is the worst part. And we've been pretty critical, at least I've been pretty critical on that communication piece. But if you take that away and you just look at what they've actually put out, I think it's great. I'm super positive on the game. I still play the Lord of the Rings living card game, and that game is, for all intents and purposes, dead. And I still play it and love it. If Marvel Champions was actually dead today, I would still enjoy and play this game and be very positive on it. So I don't see any reason to be negative. I think they have started to try. It's not always perfect, but we have a roadmap now. I mean, I wish we'd had that roadmap 3-4 years ago, but we have it now. So, I think when you're in the middle of it, sometimes it's hard to see the forest for the trees. And so we're stuck looking at trees right now, which is like, oh, why don't we have this pack? And why is this delayed? And why is this? And why is that? But if you step back and look at the forest, we have a huge game with 60 heroes and 60 scenarios and a ton of aspect cards and infinite replayability, frankly, with a community that's thriving online. There's more Discord people every day. There's more content creators every day, which is a sign of, like D20 said, the rising tide is lifting all the boats, right? There's new channels popping up all the time. People are playing, getting into the game. I think it's great. I have nothing but positive and hope for the future.
I want to echo that really quick too, because like if the game did die today, let's say, I've joked about this in my channel. It's like I have too much content as it is right now. I mean, there's so many heroes, there's so many things. I mean, especially when Guardians came out, and we're like, oh god, like Ronin, this is like one of the 10 villains I can play as Ronin. Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, it was a really rough time then. And now when you look at it, it's like, oh, I'm happy I have Ronin, because if I just want to beat my head against a wall, I can do that. But I can make it a really easy scenario too with other villains. I mean, the amount of content we have right now, like, we're doing well with it.
Yeah, I mean, we all play this game semi-professionally at this point, like to make content about all the time. And there's like heroes I look at in my box, I'm like, oh, I haven't gone back to this one in like 2 years, but I actually like this hero. I should play it again. So I could play this game for years and years and years and not get sick of it. So,
what a great note to end on, because that's That is so true. I was just thinking about my box of all the heroes because I just redid my storage stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, these heroes exist. I forgot about them. And oh my gosh, you hit a core hit me to my core there with that, because I was like, oh, I experienced that just very, very recently.
Well, we
Excellent.
were positive. Nelson, are you going to be the negative one that's just like,
Yeah.
everything's a mess, it's terrible, oh God, I hate this game?
I love how you threw in your
Yeah.
quick sponsored word. As I was refreshing in my new BCW plastic boxes that you can also
You can
get
use
with
the
the
link down
affiliate link
below.
down below.
Use code all over 10 to get.
That's why I'm positive. There's new merch.
Yeah. I think I'm positive always. I think is kind of just like my vibe.
That's your
I
thing.
love the game. I really I like, and like it's not an act. I really do enjoy this game. Like I would not be doing this if I didn't like the game. Because I like the game way more than I like making content. And and that being said, I think like if you can normalize and ask the question around my normal levels of constant positivity, I would say I am neutral.
Okay.
In the sense that I'm still very positive. I'm excited about the game. I think the uncertainty has created fear and doubt in the sense of where the future of the game is going, and like I think that's caused more than just like excitement about it. I think the uncertainty has caused more more fear and doubt than excitement, because now once we start to get some of those answers, I feel like I can like put those jigsaw puzzle pieces together in my head and I will become more excited about it, but I don't like not knowing.
Let me push back just a little bit on your negativity, so called.
Yeah, right. I love this. Let's go.
But like, to what degree are we all doing this to ourselves, right? Like, I know FFG's putting out some mixed like messaging or whatever, but if you approach it from a more casual mindset and you just like look at the game and you're like, look at all these heroes. Oh, cool. I heard we're getting Daredevil next year. That's awesome. If we weren't like parsing apart every word that Olivia puts in a Reddit post and like, well, what does this mean? And what does that mean? And this emoji could mean this. And, you know, Tony said this, just let this slip. But like, I think if we just don't hyper focus so much and step back and look at the forest instead of the trees, like we have a whole year of content coming. Super, like so much stuff to play already. We have a new game mode we just got. Like there's tons of stuff going on. I think nothing but positive, man.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that. I think as you're saying that, I'm realizing that my concern comes more from the content creation side than it does the gameplay side.
I think also on Thursday, let's go Thursday, when we get 1.7 rules, FFG, I think, like I said, I think they're going to spell out current, legacy, all those words. And I think so many fears are going to be alleviated or maybe hyped or like, you know, whatever. Maybe they won't address it in there and then we could do another video on it. You know, content, let's go. But I think once that comes out too, it's going to be just such a huge weight off for a lot of people. Just be like, okay, now I know what they mean. Like it's in the rule book, right? Now I know what current means. Now I know what legacy means. We don't have to sit here and speculate anymore. And that's what I'm hoping too, is whenever it comes out, once that 1.7 rules comes out and we have those defined terms, then yeah, it's just going to be easier for us. And like, okay, at least we know what they're kind of thinking now, because they have been talking about this for a year. And we've just sat here and, you know, again, because we are the consumers that buy everything. And it's kind of weird because I agree with you, Boom Guy, with that, you know, for a casual player, it's like they're just going to buy what they want. But for us that are like really into it, we just get way into this. And it's just like, I need to know like every little thing. And I'm as guilty as the next person because, yeah, I want to know every little thing and, you know, get the inside scoop on things. That's why I'm putting way too much hope, I think, into this 1.7 rules that I'm hoping it will not fix things, but it'll just give us the answer to some of the big questions we have.
Yeah, very fair. Y'all, thank you so much for spending so much time with me tonight and talking about Marvel Champions, this game that we very clearly love and are very passionate about, right? We're nitpicking Reddit posts. I don't remember which one of y'all said that, but I was like, yeah, take a step back. That's
us.
And that is us. That's what we enjoy, and that's how much we enjoy the game. Boom Guy, Winning Hand Podcast, one card at a time. Thank you so very much. Your links will be down below. 20 woodworking Twitch streamer. Do you consider yourself a Twitch or a YouTube streamer, or just a streamer?
Just a streamer, because I'm on
Just a
Kick
streamer.
too. I'm on everything. If I can stream to it, I figure out a way to get onto it. I sneak my way onto it. TikTok keeps trying to kick me off, and I go, no, we're going back onto it. So I'm everywhere.
I got kicked off of TikTok for some reason. I don't even know why. It's just like, hey, you can't do this anymore. I was like, okay. So clearly you care a lot more than me about TikTok.
I keep trying to trick them. I'm like, no, it's a new D20. It's different. It's a different Marvel Champions. Trust me. It's cool, TikTok.
Nice. Your links will be down below in the video description as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to be watching this on YouTube. Let us know down in the comments if you have any questions or your thoughts around everything that Fantasy Flight is put out. New heroes, current legacy, 1.7 if you're watching this past Thursday, probably have more information than what we do in this video. But thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. And yeah, I guess we'll see you next time.
Yeah, let's
Bye.
do it again.
Yeah.